Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another great episode of Kyndra's Corner. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see y'all. So happy to see y'all, man. We got an amazing episode, amazing lineup of people, per usual. But before we I bring them on, I do want to say a couple things, man. Number one, if your gun is registered and it ain't a blick or a hammer, okay, that's called a firearm. All right, just want to let y'all know that. And if the sex comes without head, just keep it. That person ordered the combo. Like, what? Come on now. And speaking of that, I just want to let y'all know as well, flowers die. So just go ahead and give her a baby instead. All right, so since I gave you guys really great advice, let me go ahead and bring my guest to the stage, right? Let me go ahead and bring my guest to the stage, man. This brother right here, he excuse me, amazing man, very talented, wonderful father. You know, he was missed last week. You know, he out there handling business. He runs 3 companies. He had to catch up on his rest so he can come and bring back some of the best advice there is out there. And I hope y'all taking notes and paying attention. Let's go ahead and bring the pimp and his dog to the stage. What's up, y'all?
What's going on, babe? Everything good today?
Hey man, listen. Besides this weather change, and I'm like, bro, you know what? I need a real winter wonderland. I might have to start like move to Alaska. And I remember our next guest I want to go ahead and bring up. I told him this earlier. I said, listen, because I'm tired of I got the fur coats. I look like the rich auntie, but the weather just keeps going up and down.
I know, right?
I might have to go to Alaska for like 3 months and then come back to Atlanta. You know, and am I speaking of? We got KG. And KG had
There you
told me, well,
go.
Kendra, the weather still is gonna be the same. You still gonna be all stuffed up and stuffy and all that other type of stuff. So,
That is true. That is correct.
but you know, hey, I do want to go to Alaska to experience the Northern Lights and have that 24-hour sunlight and everything else like that. Calling y'all at 3 a.m. Hey, how's it going? Right? Because it's gonna be like who knows, like 10 o'clock in the morning where y'all at. You know, because and I'm about to go ahead and bring my last guest. And say, might as well go ahead and do it so I can tell you guys this story. We got Lance in the building. Hey, brother, how you doing?
All right. So, as y'all know, every time I get on, I always respond and react to the intro. I love your intro about Alaska. You're right, because when I was in Iceland, I was there for a whole week and the sun never went down, and my brain was
Really?
was messed up. So I'm just warning you about
I did
that.
not know that. So wait, the sun didn't go down. I did not even
It
know
stays
that.
daylight for like 4 months straight, and the sun never goes down. And in the winter, it's darkness for like 4 months straight. And in the between season, that's the only time you get like a normal day. Yes, so I'm just warning you about that. The other thing I would love to respond to is just like you get an entree at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have the entree, which is the hamburger, and then the fries, which is the sides, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
technically the combo. But you can replace the fries with something else if you don't like the fries, right? Like
Hmm.
onion rings or something.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
if I am not getting, because I don't really like hair like that. I'm not really a big fan of it. I mean, I like it, but I'm not
Whoa,
a fan of it. So is there
whoa. Okay,
something I can replace to substitute the head, like to say if I want a full combo?
maybe a foot job. You ever had that?
I never understood the feet thing. I'm not really a feet person.
Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, man.
So oh
I
well. So
I
one
don't
more
know
thing I
what.
want to say. As an experienced simp, you said that flowers die, and I literally gave a girl a flower last week or week before last. I do not know
Mhm.
what it was. So since I can't give women flowers and I don't want to fuck her, so what can I do to replace flowers?
Give her a baby. Okay,
I
that's
don't want to have
shelter.
my kids.
Okay, KG pimp. What do y'all say?
I mean, the man is entitled to, who he
What
skeet
can he
off
give
in.
him instead, though? What can he give him instead?
Uh,
Advice,
yeah, advice.
advice.
Okay. Good question. I mean, good answer.
Well,
Good
let
answer. I
me.
appreciate it.
You can always give me advice. Tell them don't walk barefoot in the wintertime.
You know what? I appreciate that. But I'm sorry to take up all the time of your
No,
show,
you're
but yeah.
fine. But let me tell you guys what happened. So I went to um I was on the phone with KG when I was making one of my other stops. And so I'm like, listen, man, because I'm like sneezing like pepper is all around me, right? And it started happening on Wednesday evening. I'm like, okay, I know I'm taking my vitamins every day. Um I am, I'm drinking like I always drink water. I eat healthy. I'm doing everything, but also I know that you can do everything right and still you get attacked by something, right? And so with that being said, earlier today I said, okay, as soon as I get off work, I'm gonna go straight to go and get some allergy relief medicine like Claritin, Loratadine, but I'm gonna make sure I get the off brand that, to save that money, right? Because it all still works the same. Just free game for y'all. You ain't gotta sit here and spend all that money, with that. So hit up the Dollar General and I come home and I'm about to take it. Now it's one bottle, 60 pills, off brand, $8. Good price, right? Y'all, this bottle expired 4 years ago. There was no expiration date on the
Mm.
outside.
What you
Only
expect
when
from
I
Dollar
opened
General?
you says Dollar General.
Wow.
So I still got the receipt. I typically don't have the receipt. I typically don't keep the receipt. This is my mom. I always tell the cashiers, man, you can keep that. I don't want to be reminded what I just paid for. Okay, but she kept it, placed in the bag for me. And so tomorrow I am going to make sure to get an exchange because I'm like, bro, 4 years ago it expired. What type of crap is? And it, like I said, on the box, it didn't say expiration date. Open up the box, the bottle, it said, like, bro, whatever. But I'm sure we've all had something like that has happened to us. You live life long enough. So yes. But let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and start answering these random polls. Lance, let me go ahead. I'm gonna bring it to you first. So
Okay.
when women talk about, this was the bonus question I did not get a chance to answer last week. So when women talk about not doing wife things, quotation marks, for their boyfriend, they fail to mention having sex slash popping out babies as one of the requirements. Why is it that women will lay on their back but complain if he wants a sandwich made?
Oh my gosh. I really hope I don't offend anybody when I say this.
We
I
don't care,
put
man.
it
Keep it
on
real.
God. I'm not trying to offend anybody that's looking at this. I promise you. Okay. But this is my honest answer, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything or give anybody a comfortable feeling lie. Okay. Okay. The majority of the women that I ask the same exact question to all say, "Oh well, he wanted a baby and he forced it on me. He pushed it on me. I didn't really want kids. It's just that he just he was just a controlling man that did anything to keep him. He did X, Y, and Z." And it's like, okay, so if I ask every single mother in the world the same question, they'll damn near say the same thing. So I'm trying to think to myself, so every last one of y'all, look at y'all child right now. Do y'all really didn't want y'all child? And this is something I do know because I talk to so many women a day, and they all say the same thing. Oh, because he forced it on me. I didn't really want. Okay, all right. But I also hear a lot of women equivalently also saying they want kids like by a certain age. Okay, but when they get to that age, they have them kids. So it's hard for me to really believe a lot of women. Like I said, if you're a woman looking at this, I'm not, and you have this story, and the man really did force it on you, I'm not talking about you. Okay, I don't. So I hope everybody, don't flag your show or report your show because I'm saying something that many people say is misogynistic, but what a lot of women say. But my personal opinion is that women crave reproduction like men crave sex. Because I can ask men the same thing. Why do women get with, why do men complain about paying a woman's bills, but will have sex with a homeless woman outside? because we just crave sex. That's something that I do know about women. They crave reproduction. It's naturally designed in your brain. Your brain is designed to reproduce. So a woman would like reproduce with anything, almost like men who have sexual organ. It's just I don't know. I know I probably sound confusing. I gave weird answers, but that's my thing for you.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. KG, go ahead. Same question to you, brother.
I mean, I get what Lance is saying, and I agree with it and stuff. Maybe I can say it a little easier. So women also, those women also, crave satisfaction along with the male as well, along with reproduction and stuff. If you think about it, a child is more, how do they say, uh, you can touch it. What's the words I'm looking for? Anyway, a child is something that they can also be like, see, look what I got from him. A sandwich, you can't necessarily brag about that right there. However, you know, I don't really get women that be like, like, make your own damn sandwich. Okay, but she wants to do the same for you. What not, you lazy heifer? You know, if you active enough to roll over or bend over, however you want to do. Make me a damn sandwich and grab me a beer, damn it.
Oh
Okay. All right. All right. Pimp, same question to you.
We're talking about the women don't want to have the babies but do everything else.
No. They'll sit here and actually have this man's baby, but then complain about, oh, I gotta make him a sandwich. I gotta iron his clothes. I gotta do.
Oh yeah.
Hold on,
Well,
before you answer,
Wait, hold on,
before
Pimp.
you
Go
answer,
ahead. Go ahead, KG.
I want to ask a question or whatnot. Is the guy that's asking to make the sandwich, because this all plays into a factor as well. Is he a real provider? Number one, let's get that straight. First of all, if you just playing video games, then I can see why she would say that. You know, put some, take us there so we can answer the question um, accurately, if you will.
well, I'm thinking.
I understand.
I was thinking. You're technically saying like women just simply complain about that in general before marriage. Like even if he is a good provider, even if he's an ain't shit nigga, like a man doesn't deserve any husband privilege before marriage, but he deserves a man no matter what kind of man he is. Are you saying, Kyndra?
I guess. I mean, it was just more of a general. I didn't think that deeply into it. I was just more so,
Okay.
just more of a general. I mean, but that's a good standpoint as well. It was just more like of a general question, just in like, are there women who think like that? I'm like, it's not making sense. So, but that's a good another good point added on to it. I mean, we can throw that in there.
Well, see, everybody want a good relationship or a good partner until it requires them to be a good partner.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like everybody running around here, oh, I want this man that'll do this and that'll do that and that don't do this and don't do that. And then when you grab that cat and he'll tell you something about yourself that he may not agree with or some things he might want to change with you or whatnot. But yeah, he bringing everything to the table you want, but you'll stand firm on, I've been doing this all my life. I ain't gonna change this for nobody. And blah. You say I can't do this, or you say I can't do that. It's not about that. It's just about what I want in my particular woman. You know what I mean? And if you're getting what you want out of me, I should be able to get what I want out of you.
That makes sense.
My advice to most brothers is to bring something to the table that most people or other cats either can't or won't do in a relationship. You really want to be that guy? Do a lot of shit that a lot of niggas won't do. You know, cook for your woman majority of the time. Drive her to work when it rains. pump out the gas in the car all the time. Don't let her pump no gas, and cook a lot, like I say, rub feet and, clean the house sometimes. Do a lot of stuff that other cats won't do. Even if they can do it, they won't do it. You know what I mean? Then if you're really bringing that wardrobe the way you're supposed to, and it don't matter how you provide, if you provide in a certain, shape, form, or fashion, that woman should really, be ready to turn flips for you. I tell you what, real niggas a dying breed these days.
Boy,
There's
let me tell you something.
way more good women looking for good niggas than it is niggas looking for good women. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, if you anywhere near a good cat and you put yourself out there among some women that's really looking for a good cat, you shouldn't be, have a hard time grabbing one of them, I promise you. We're a dying breed.
Yeah.
Hey, I love that. I love that. Well, let me go ahead. I'm gonna give my best answer. Because I was kept thinking about this, and I will definitely agree with all of you all's points. Um, I think what it is that a lot of women don't see a real value um outside of having babies. This is just a guesstimate because it's like, bro, you done did all this. You literally out here having this man's kids. You out here doing all these horizontal acts, wherever porn star type of acts, vertical, whichever way that you go. But it's like you're not really trying to fully submit and cater to that man. And I think it like I said, I think it's like a low self-esteem problem within them. They feel like that's just too much of a responsibility. It's the same as you got couples out here who don't want to get married, but they want to keep they want to keep having all these kids. And I'm like, as if having a child, they're like, oh, it's too much of a commitment. But what about having a child?
Thank you.
If you have a child, you technically, you still technically, even if you guys may not ever speak again, y'all are joined together. If you get married and then you get divorced and you don't have no kids, you don't have to ever see that person ever again.
Yeah.
So I think what it is that it's one of those things where um what comes with, they're like, oh, I'll definitely make him a sandwich. I'll definitely make him a sandwich until he really does wake you up in the middle of the night. And you're like, why are you really waking me up in the middle of the night? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you serious? It's one of those things where it sounds like a good idea, but it's really not, to them. So that's my best answer. You know what I really want to bring these type of women on the podcast, man. Be asking them these type of questions if they will allow. See what they say.
If they were
See what they
allowed,
say.
keyword.
If they would allow it, without looking at us crazy. KG, let me come to you with the second question of the night. All right, and what are your thoughts on cohabitation before marriage? Like, what would you say are the pros and cons of cohabitating before marriage? And for the ones that don't know, because I remember Lance, when I asked him this, he didn't know what cohabitation. Basically,
Yeah, same here.
old school. Okay, so okay, you don't. Okay, so what the old school people say, shacking up, or moving in together before marriage. So again, the old school folks will say shacking up. The proper term they want to say cohabitation without offending people. I'm like, how is the word shacking up offensive? It's crazy. Just like the word apparently bull dagger is offensive, but not the word dyke. I'm like, I thought dyke was more offensive than bull dagger, but whatever. Okay. So go ahead, KG. What's your answer?
Okay. Okay. Repeat the question in its entirety. 'Cause, I kind of
Yeah, I know.
missed.
I just kind of went off the edge with it. So, what are the pros and cons of basically moving in together before marriage? Because I
Okay.
know if you want to talk about, without putting your business out there or whatever.
No, I don't give a damn. The pros of it is and stuff. You will get to know that person and stuff. It's like a test drive of a relationship, if you will. A long term relationship, a test drive. You get to see how each other, like functions together in real time. Pet peeves will be brought up. Pet peeves will be found out. And if able, you can fix those and stuff. Like for instance, you get into bed with your lady and stuff, and you just so happen, like it's your first time being in bed with her, you just notice that her breath stinks after 12, and that's just one thing that people don't like. So then another thing, the stuff, her feet could stink or whatnot stuff, and she probably have a flatulence problem in the middle of the night. So these things can be worked out before marriage and stuff, because see, you don't want to marry somebody that you want to find out that they stink. And then you like, oh hell, I done married this stinking ass health and stuff, and I didn't even know she stunk like that and stuff. So what the hell? But you raising your hand, what?
Yes. So no, I do. I am raising my hand. So here's my question, KG. The person's gonna smell anyway. They're human, it ain't like they like a baby or anything else in that manner. They're gonna smell, and they're gonna break
He
wind in the
just
middle of the
don't want
night.
a musty ass woman. That's what he's saying.
I'm saying
Thank you very much.
you don't think that she's gonna be stanking anyway at some point.
But
What if
just
she's
No,
going
keep
through
your
the
hygiene
motions?
because see, let me
up.
tell you something. I've been
She
married
can
for
keep her
14 years.
hygiene up.
Let me tell you this. I've been married for 14 years, and I have never and have yet to smell my wife at anything. She can come in from a hard day's work. I still don't smell her and stuff. She's clean. She knows how to keep everything on the
I'm
up and stuff.
glad.
See, here's the
Shout
thing.
out to your wife.
See, here's the thing.
Hey, well, I don't give a damn how long you been with nobody. You ain't supposed to smell them shit.
That's true. You ain't supposed to smell them.
I
But
don't
the
care
thing
about
about
them with you one day or 10 years, goddamn. I don't supposed to smell you.
and
I'm
and
sorry. Shit.
and that's and that's basically the con of it all and stuff. You may find out some things that you like, damn, I thought this was gonna be the right one and all this other stuff, but all that stuff could pile up and could become a nuisance or whatnot to the relationship. And if they don't want to change stuff, at least now you can like, hey man, look, I don't think this is gonna work. I go my way, you go yours. Versus you building a whole castle together. Now you got to split this, split that. Who get this? Which we all know the women gonna get the house and all this other crap and stuff like that. So why? So why put in all this money and all this time into something that you don't know for a fact if it's not gonna work? Now, granted, the Bible says that, you shouldn't shack up, and that's true, you shouldn't. But in these days and times, you kind of have to, you really have to know what you're getting into before you actually get into it and stuff. Because by doing this will stop from fights. Yes, again.
Okay, so wait, I might raise my hand with all y'all. So hold on. You said the Bible says, but you said but. So here's my question: Are you not trusting that God is gonna make sure everything, the person that you're with, is the person that you're supposed to be with? Like you don't have to find a loophole and be like, well, God, I know you said this, but I don't really trust your word, so I'm gonna just because that's what
That's
happens.
not
That
what a
like
person, but that's not what a person's saying when they reneging on the relationship. They're not saying that or whatnot, because see, the thing about what you also don't understand is that God is not finished with any of us. So therefore, God is not expecting for us to put up with things that we're not physically or mentally able to deal with. He wants us to flourish, and that is not flourishing by being in a relationship that keeping you down all the time.
of course.
Nah, nah, shut up, go sit in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Pim. Same question with you. Go ahead, and then I'll hit Lance, and then we'll
Well,
say what I'll say what I gotta say.
I think everybody answer pretty much gonna be on the same type of time. It actually depends on what you're gonna build your marriage upon. First of all, again, as Christians, people who think and want to say we're living by God's word, we don't have a choice to, what we want to do, right or wrong. We supposed to do things by His way, and that's just the bottom line. My thing is personally, I choose what I ask God to forgive me for wisely. So that's one of the things I'm gonna have to ask Him to forgive me for, because I just don't see myself going long term with anything I can't try out prior to going into it, to state my life and and everything online, and that's with house, car, female, anything I got going is gonna be long term like that. I'm gonna have to see what's up with it before I dive into it. So that I just have to ask God to forgive me for. I won't ask Him to forgive me, for the insignificant lies and everyday bullshit. Don't ask me for $5 because I tell you, yeah, I got it, but I can't give it to you. You see what I'm saying? I'm not finna sit here and tell you I ain't got it. That's a lie. I do have it, but I can't give it to you, fam. So, I'm not gonna ask God for them little type of lies, but I will ask him to forgive me for premarital sex and shacking up or whatnot, prior to getting into that, because ultimately we shouldn't do that, but we probably will.
Pimp, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What is the fear, but regarding with that? Like, I know you just said that you have to try something out prior to, and then one of the things you'll do is continuously ask for his forgiveness. What is the actual fear? I'm just not saying, what, I'm just gonna trust that he's got me and trust his word, like, not like in Proverbs, don't lean on thy own, I'm not gonna don't lean on thy own understanding, but in all the ways trust in the Lord thy God. So
Mm-hmm.
applying that verse to your life, what's the fear?
I actually have that tattooed on me. Um, at this point in my life, I think I'll be okay. Prior to now, I probably had more issues with more things, but at this point in my life, I think I could go into something knowing somebody, learning somebody, and kicking it with them without living with them, without sexing them, because ultimately, I think I can find happiness, you know, in somebody without those two things taking place. And definitely, hell, I know how to, coexist, so that wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? So, yeah, at some point, I think most people just afraid of like I say, the know of what it is. And again, if we want to live by God, of course, you have to trust in this particular person being the one. And just because they may have a fault or two, that don't mean they not the one. So, it depends on how far you willing to make sure, just because everything ain't checked off on the list don't mean she ain't a keeper or he ain't a keeper. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean God didn't send them to you.
Yeah,
Just mean you gotta accept them as they are.
that's it. That's it. Lance, let's go ahead and go with you. Your turns, brother.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to talk as fast as I can because I got a lot to say. So the first thing I'm gonna say is that okay, I've noticed this literally the short time I've been alive. Okay, living with someone is totally different than knowing them in the streets or knowing them outside of your house. Okay, you can know someone for 10 straight years at work. You can know some 10 straight years on the outside, but 1 minute of living with them will show you literally their entire life. It's very different. So of course it's hard to go out there and just marry anybody. And I'm agreeing with what KG said. I agree exactly what he's saying. You know, the thing is, back in the biblical days, life was completely different. Okay, these days we're in the era of sexy red. We're in the era of all of these like, oh my gosh, how can I say, anti-biblical style traditions. For instance, women are taught don't make a man a sandwich. Okay, he should be feeding you a sandwich. Don't settle for a man. You should be a hoe. Break up with a man for any little thing. Know your value. Know your worth, girl. Take his house. He don't deserve shit from you. Know your value. You're a bad bitch. Value your pussy. That pussy need to ride every dick in the world. You know,
But see,
this
those
is
are those women in the world too, though, fam. Those women in the world. You gotta watch who the pool is, where you
exactly.
fishing at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Right.
And you
But
know,
that is the majority of the world. But you're absolutely right, and it's sad, but
mhm.
it's true.
Thank you. And I really thought I was crazy, honestly, because I feel like I was the only person that really talked like this. But I appreciate your input, though. You know, society is teaching women that loving a man is considered being a slave to a man. So if you love a man or if you make a man a sandwich, that means he's controlling you. You don't know your worth and value. And the problem is, this was getting into so many young women's brains, sadly, my generation especially. And it's like, it feels like, oh my gosh, now at this point, I'm gonna have to really go through these women with a fine tooth comb and really, really, really observe these women for a while before I make a decision as strong as marriage. But I'm not sure if y'all women actually feel this, but as a young black man in this country, I am terrified of marriage. Even though I really want a wife, I don't want no hoe. I don't believe in one night stands. So I want a wife, but I'm so scared because it's like the type of world we live in today is like I feel like I I literally have to run a whole background report on her before I marry her because I have to sell my entire rest of my life to this one woman. So it's like, you know what? At this point, I might as well go to a country where they strictly like into like family tradition, like values, and like I have to go probably to a colony out there that's still frozen since 54 BC that really values family, that don't believe in this trash. So as a as a young black man, this is just my opinion of why I want to live with her. I want to know her family. Like even before I have kids, I want to make sure we can raise a plant first together. Then I'm gonna graduate. Okay, let's get a goldfish. Let's graduate to a fish. Can we raise that together? Okay, then let's get a kitten. Okay, let's get a couple of dogs.
That makes a lot of
Okay,
sense.
yeah, and then okay, since we know how to raise all them, now we can go to a child. Go ahead, Pimp.
I'm sorry to tell you, fam, but that that still ain't gonna work, fam.
You're right. You're right.
When you get one that I promise you, my nigga, I done been there. When you get one that you can do all those things with, okay, everything that you just said, and some more stuff too. You feel me?
Hmm.
When when a strange situation come up that ain't got nothing to do with those things that you talking about, the same thing gonna happen, fam.
Mm. So what do
You
you
gonna get the
think?
same
So what do you think can increase my chances of building trust with a woman?
prayer
Good answer. Yeah.
and knowing that they human, that they gonna err, but just have a limitation upon your error that you allow them to have. I give myself a couple of things I will deal with, and everything else, is cool. You know what I'm saying? I deal with, pretty much everything, but it's just one or two things I will not deal with, fam. So when you cross them lines, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? But towards
Mhm.
anything else, you're human. I give you that because I'm not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna fuck up and do different shit too. But at the same time, I don't expect you to stay with me if I'm banging up some every other month or two. You catching me in situations and this, that, and the other. I don't expect you to stay with me either. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I mean, it's just certain things I ain't gonna deal with it. But when you trying to be in a marriage, fam, just pray to God, for the woman that you desire to have, and be patient and beware because you'll bump into her anywhere, fam.
Yeah. Yeah. And just ask God to give it to me. Instead of me just
Exactly.
going out there and searching the
Yeah,
world for
don't look for her. I promise you, she gonna find you. When you start asking God for her, he gonna send her to you, fam.
And you know what? I agree on that because, like I told Kendra, um, all of my life, I've never approached a woman. Everybody I've dated, I've never approached. I never had to go out and get. They all just came just all of a sudden. This is why I told Kendra many times. I don't believe in flirting. I
Hmm.
don't believe in pickup game. I don't go to clubs. I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't learn how to speak to women. I just let
There
it
you
be. I
go.
just let it happen.
There you go. I don't have no game either, fam. I tell a bitch I like her and you like me, shit, let's try to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't got no words or none of that. So I feel that to the fullest. But yeah, you just watch the ones that speak to you. Watch the ones who look at you too long and stuff like that. You might have to change. You might have to approach one here or there. You feel me? But
Mhm.
yeah, when you start asking God for it, then you start paying attention to what's around you, who around you, fam.
Okay, appreciate it.
For sure, for
Well,
sure.
okay. Okay. Let me go ahead and let me give my response, and then Pimp, you give us a word, end us out with a word. So my thoughts on cohabitation, in the very beginning I was with it, but at this point in my life, I'm not. At this point, I just trust God, man, because I realize no matter what's gonna end up happening, you know, whether a person smells or the worst, like the worst. I don't know. I just think like, okay, even with the worst gonna happen, I still love this person. You know, like I don't want you know, my husband to leave the house without flushing the toilet if he did number two, but he might just do that, and it's okay. Like it's not that big of a deal, you know. Um, I even thought to myself, he can have his own house and I can have my own house and we could be married. But then again, it's no purpose in that. Like, you know, you got some folks who do that, but I don't need to do that. For me, I think the pro is you get to know that person beforehand. But like with some people I've seen, not everybody, but with some people I've seen, they're like, oh, they'll move in together, and then the day of their wedding keeps getting postponed. It's like, you know, what's that old school saying? If you give the man, you know, pretty much everything in the very beginning, what's he got to work for? You know, now I'm not saying every man. You do have some men who are like, listen, we're gonna get married by this time, and they actually do follow the plan. But some folks get lazy, you know, and for me, like I say, I'm not leaning on my own understanding. So I'm not for cohabitation. I'm like, listen, man, I just allow God to lead me to showing me different characteristics and traits about that person. I just trust. I'm like, okay, Father, what do you think about this person? Tell me, you know, can you show me in a dream, a vision, make it known? And he does answer my prayers in some way, shape, or form. You just gotta be you just have to use that wisdom. You know, but Lance, I like what you had said. I'm gonna go ahead and answer your because I know you got a
Hey,
question.
I have a
I like
question
what you
though.
had said, Lance, about yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So if you're so okay with all of these flaws in a man, why do you constantly complain about men's flaws? I'm just curious.
Because they're
I'm
low
not, I'm
hanging
not,
fruit in
I'm
my
not trying to put the
DMs.
business out there, I
They're
promise.
the
But I'm
low.
just saying, if you're okay with your husband doing all the stuff you just mentioned, then why do you complain when men naturally have flaws when they come to your DMs?
Exactly. That's a good question right there.
Because they're low hanging fruit in my DMs. I'm not
And do
taking
you
my
think
DMs
If they're low
if
seriously.
your
hanging,
husband
I
has
don't, I
that,
No.
don't, I don't think it's the
your
flaws that
husband gonna be all over your
she's
fruit?
seeing, or the flaws that she responded to. I think she responded to the way they approaching her and the things they have to say. I don't think she's
That's
gotten
it.
close
Yes,
enough
that's it.
to anybody to really get their flaws. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so I'm talking about the other things, right? If this man doesn't have a car, if this man dressed like this, if this man looked like that, I mean, even outside of the things you complain, right? You tell me yourself. If a man like these men are unattractive, he should
Lance,
know
it's
that he
because
like these men didn't ask to be unattractive.
yes.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing. It's
the
a
reason why
certain.
I
Well,
asked,
here's the thing.
hello, oh yeah, I was saying the reason
Okay,
why I
let
asked.
me say
Yeah,
this. Let me say
okay,
this
go
to
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Yes, go.
Okay, so the reason why I asked
I was
is
saying
because
that because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lance. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
okay,
ahead.
the reason why I asked is because I listen to you every day and I take your advice. Okay, I take your advice as someone that's learning from a woman. You tell me all the time, if you don't got a car, you shouldn't be flirting with women. Okay, my car got damaged. I technically didn't have a car, so but you're still telling me go flirt with that woman even if you don't have a car. Okay, which one is right? Okay, you if you know that you're unattractive, don't talk to a woman. Okay, me on a personal level, I look like I got a baby face. Of course, that's obviously nothing masculine about that. I was told by other women. So I don't know what advice to take or what advice not to. If you keep telling me, okay, this man is unattractive. If you know you're unattractive, you shouldn't be speaking to women. If you know you don't got a car, you should. If you don't got your ducks in a row, don't speak to women. Okay, so I'm taking all that advice, but now you're saying, oh man doesn't need all that. I'll accept him for who he is. If my husband got flaws, if he don't got a car, if he don't got like, I just want to know what you accept and what you don't. If a man, if your husband don't need a car, if he can be unattractive, if he can stink, then you shouldn't give complaint about men stinking or not having a car, not being unattractive. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so
So
let me
sit
go
down,
ahead.
sit down in the
I'm gonna
fence a
answer
little bit,
this.
man. That's all you saying, huh? Mm-hmm.
Let me go
Now
ahead
I will say
and
this. I
quickly
will
and
say this.
quickly answer this.
Hold on, before you answer, I will say this. This new guy that
Go
she
ahead,
was
KG.
talking to me, this new guy she was talking to me about. Now he was a little too thirsty. Now, I mean, he really, you could tell he didn't have a brain. He didn't really know how to conversate. He just wanted to throw money in her face and say he's real out here, making it seem like he just dug in it and he just doing all this other stuff. But clearly, we know he bullshit. You know, he ain't shit. But you know, but you know, it's no. Uh, I'm glad she let him go and stuff because he really wasn't. He couldn't even talk for himself. Let's just say that and stuff. He was just out the way.
I agree on that.
Yes, that was that only lasted a day of conversation. Um, Let me go ahead and answer Lance real quick,
Yes,
and then
please.
I can kind of like wrap up with my points, and then go to Pimp, and he'll close us out. So here's the thing, Lance. I'm saying when you first meet someone, everybody should have a certain list of their standards list, what they're willing to put up with and what they're not, and what they can compromise with. Me personally, I have tried dating a guy without a car. I've tried dating a guy who was broke. I have tried dating a guy who was ugly, who looked like a squirrel with a trash bag wrapped around their face. Okay. And I just couldn't do it. I tried dating the guys whose teeth look like the New York State line. Okay. I have tried dating all these type of guys, but I realized that wasn't for me. So I say all this to say, when we are married, that's different than a random man coming to my DM and he doesn't have his ducks in a row. Right? It's like imagine you going to a job interview looking homeless. You don't want to go to get iron out your shirt. You don't like it's your first impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So when these men come in my DMs, which we all know, majority of the DMs are low hanging fruit anyway. It's a lot of thirsty guys anyway. It's a lot of guys who don't have no real good intentions. I'm not going to take them seriously. However, if I come across a man who is, I'm looking at his potential, I'm checking out how his heart posture is, I'm seeing how, if his representative done left and what he really is like, okay, I can work with that and everything else like that. I know there are gonna be times where he's not marriage is gonna sometimes it ain't gonna always be 50-50. It might be 80-20 one day, 90-10. It might be 70-30. And again, that's where I am. I'm not now if his car again, if we're married, his car breaks down in the marriage, I have no problem taking him to work. I know it's not gonna be like that forever. But again, don't expect me to come pick you up. Because you know how many men have like, can you come pick me up? Can I get some money? They'll holler at me and then they'll ask for these demands. It's ridiculous. So again, hopefully that answers your question. Because again,
The,
I wanted to
the,
go ahead and give it like more. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I'll promise you, I'm not trying to make this video too long. This could be very quick, I promise. Right now, you're saying I know that you do not like it when men show their representative because you always keep telling me keep it real. A man should keep it real. A man should keep it real. Don't show no representative. Just be a real. Okay, but then weren't you just telling me that a man should come into a woman's DM a certain way? There's a certain way he's supposed to come. So technically, you're saying that as men we should put on a front when we're coming into a woman's DMs because technically we're not supposed to show our flaws, right?
No, I'm saying yes. When you first meet people, be presentable. Like treat people the way that you want to be treated. In a sense, don't come and be like, "Listen, man, I'm a bum" and everything else. Like on top of that, what person do you know is gonna really take you seriously if they say, "Hey," they pull up in y'all's DM and say, "Oh, I'm just only here after your money." Like you'll be able to tell what type of person that they are. I'm not saying like now I've had men who have been very honest and was like, "Y'all just want to let you know I mess with transgenders. Are you okay with that?" I'm like, "What the heck?" And everything else. It's just again, it's a lottery analogy.
If you get in a DM and get to a conversation with a motherfucker, I mean, at some point you need to keep it gangster regardless. You know what I mean? And that may be well. Look here, I ain't got myself together right now, but I still want to holler at you. You know what I'm saying? I still want to, see what we might be able to do. You know what I mean? We can kick it or something until I do get myself together. And if, like you say, if his heart and everything else in the right place, or her heart and stuff in the right place, then it ain't build a bitch or a nigga. But I mean, you help that person get to where you want them to be too, if that's who you want, right?
That's true.
I mean,
That is true.
that's my thing, and if in marriage is different, you gotta kind of put up with whatever because that's what you signed up for. Okay, but prior to marriage, again, if you ain't really trying to do it the Christian way, then a lot of that shit don't even matter anyway. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I told her, I say, people always talking about I date an ugly person or I date a fat chick or whatnot, woo the woo the woo, or a fat dude, ugly dude. I said, man, you're a lie. You'll never get a chance to know what they're hard about because you wouldn't give them the time of day. Because ugly people know they're ugly. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna approach somebody that's outside their league unless they damn near crazy or they got a lot of bread work with them. You see what I'm saying? So when that happens, then that woman already know, or that man already know. Well, they ain't really talking for themselves, ugly as they is. They it's their money talking. Because otherwise, they couldn't really approach me like this. Look at me and look at them. It don't make sense, you know. Again, but when you got somebody that you didn't put your time and investments in, it don't matter what they look like because you can find love in many different places. I've seen the ugly and pretty together, but they ain't been just that far apart. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, opposites do attract. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's your dedication to what it is that you try to get going on. You know what I mean? If you want something real, you're gonna be real. If you want something fake, you're gonna be fake. You know. Again, don't allow somebody to put that persona on that ain't what it is. And everybody made a good point about standing on some grounds. Make sure you got some things you just ain't gonna go for. And I mean, these days, you ain't gonna get the whole shebang. You know what I'm saying? You might get right there to where you think you want to be with a person, but it's gonna be something you're gonna have to deal with, and that's with any and everybody. So it's gonna be one somebody that's gonna be worth it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about this, that, and the other. It's about who is actually worth you being in your roof for to make something go past what it is right now. To go further, to go past friendship, past a relationship, to get into that marriage stage. Because once you get there, you got to step them for any and everything at that point. You know,
That's it. Pim, I think that was the word. You ended that.
that's
You
it.
ended out that perfectly. You ended out that
Well, I believe
perfectly. So, man, listen, I appreciate. I definitely appreciate everybody who tuned in. Thank y'all so much for my guests. KG, welcome back. I appreciate you. Lance, I appreciate you. Pimp, as always, man. You guys have been wonderful. You guys have been
for
wonderful. Thank
sure.
you